Hi guys, and welcome to my tutorial on installing the ScubaArena plugin in prefab. So it's a very simple thing to install into an existing map, so let's just jump straight into it. The first thing we're going to cover, or the things we're going to cover in this tutorial, is importing it into your map, installing the plugin, the configuration file, and running a game. And I'll explain each in sort of greater detail as we come to it. So the first part we're going to do is import the map into RustEdit. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to create a new map. So I'll just set the ground value at 550 and just create. Now with this prefab, it's important that it effectively just goes underground and obviously in the water. So we want to make sure that sort of we're under the terrain, no one's near it, so you can put this in the middle of the ocean if you wish. But so long as it is under the terrain and in the water, that's all it really needs. So actually I might set this to about 510, come to think of it, a bit closer to the water. Alright, so I've got the map here now. What we're going to do is we're going to come over to, give you an example of let's lower some of the terrain here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the water. I'm going to go into my prefabs and look for ScubaArena. In this case it's called ScubaArena Release. So pretty straightforward sort of arena. We go inside, we can have a look and see all the floating objects and whatnot. You don't need to break this at all. Everything, don't move anything. Drag it under the map, sort of about here, just somewhere where the terrain trigger's not going to poke through and make your players fall to their deaths. It's still somewhere that's obviously underwater. So, and that's pretty much all there is to it when it comes to installing. The only thing I will suggest is don't put it too close to the edge, otherwise things could happen. So as long as it's in a little bit, that's all that's really required. So now that we've got this installed, let's load up and I'll show you how to install the plugin. Alright, so I've got my server up and running now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move my plugin, or my ScubaArena plugin, into my Oxide plugins folder. So to do that, you go into Oxide, plugins, find the plugin, and paste it in. So you can see here it's added the button is set up, added 14 start positions, set the lobby location, and it is good to go. So if I go to configuration now, you'll see that we've got ScubaArena, the new configuration file that's loaded up for it. So we'll go through the configuration real quick, and we'll jump into the game and have a look. So delay before game starts. So this is how many seconds that the lobby timer runs for, and for that duration, the players can just basically sit in the lobby waiting, and then when this value hits 0, the game will start. They get teleported to each of the starting bays and profit. Delayed to kick players after the game starts. So basically, if a player is hanging about in their doors, when their doors open, if they're still in their spawn room, it'll kick them after 30 seconds from the game. Or, it'll kill them. So it just kind of slays them. Report deaths to participants. So this basically means that when a player dies within the game, it'll tell all the other players within that game that that player's died. Nice and simple. Minimum players to start a game, 2. So I've set this to minimum 2, that way at least 2 people have to participate in order for a game to begin. Otherwise, if the timer gets to 0 and only 0 or 1 players are currently in the lobby, then it'll cancel the game and start again later. Time prior to the game commencing to prevent players from joining. Now this is to stop players from joining at the very last second and potentially causing issues, so I set this to about 10 seconds. And it means that players, in the final 10 seconds of the timer here, no players able to join. This is a command to prevent players from running while they're in the game, so they can't use things like kits or whatever, whatever command you decide to put in there, like TPA, whatever you want to do. Basically, these are just simply chat commands that can be prevented. So you don't have to put the / in, but just simply put the main command in that you would normally type into chat, and it can be done by adding commas between them. So long as the last one doesn't have a comma next to it, it'll work. So delete player data on map wipe. So basically it means that it removes any outstanding prizes and whatnot when the map wipes. So you set that to true if you want that to happen, otherwise set it to false. How often should we run? Oh, this should be ScubaArena. I'll fix this on release. How often should we run the game? Set to 0 if you do not want it to auto start. So basically this is how often in seconds we want this game to run. So by default I've set it to once an hour. So every hour it'll run and automatically start a game up, and players can join. Now whenever you start a game up manually, this timer gets reset. So just keep that in mind as well. Remove players from their teams when the game starts. So this basically means it prevents players from teaming. At the moment it won't put them back into the teams. So set that to false if if people want to maintain their teams. Otherwise set true if you want to kick them from their team. Reward rolls per redemption. So basically this uses a reward system when a player wins. Instead of giving the reward straight away after they win the game, they type a command in to redeem it. That way, they're not in a volatile position or whatnot. They can redeem it at their own leisure if they're back at their base. And this is how many rewards you want them to give them per game win. So when they redeem a reward, it's going to roll this many times on the table down here. Heal a player when they kill another player. So basically, this will put them back up to full health. So the starting health by default is set to 150. So this will put that player back up to 150. Or increase it by a certain value. So you can see here how much health is 100. So this is how much health that player will get. And how much extra health should the player start with? So this is how much additional health over 100 should the player start with. So by default, this is set to 50, which means the starting health for each player will be 150. Now these are the rewards. So if you want players to get rewards for winning the game, you just simply add rewards into here. And it's quite simple. All you need to do is just simply copy this syntax here, put a comma next to it, and then paste it in under and change it to whatever item you like. So you can do rifle.ak, quantity of 1, and you can add a skin number in there as well. If you want to do I guess a custom item, you can do that as well. So if you want to do, say, I've got items that revolve around blood, I can give them one of that, give them the unique item skin, and call this a gold nugget. It's an example of how you can also give custom items as rewards for this game as well. So this just simply spawns the item when the player redeems the command, and what it'll do is it'll cycle through with one of these things randomly and pick it. Nice and easy. So that's the configuration stuff explained. We'll go into the game now, start up a game, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so we're here in game now. Server's loaded up. Permissions have been granted, which you can find in the sales page, and plugin is loaded. So do a quick test to see if it is loaded, and if everything's been acquired. We're just going to do start SA 30. You can see here the game's been started. Now it won't start if you failed to find the buttons or the spawn points. So yeah, that's a clear indicator that it is working now. Now there is a couple of chat commands that we're going to go through. We've already seen seen two, but I'll go into a bit more depth for those. So if you want to start a game manually, you do /start SA. Now by default, if you just type that in without any arguments, it's going to start the game in 300 seconds or whatever you set the configuration delay to. If you want to override that start time and just say start in 30 seconds, however, you can do a parameter after start SA and add a time parameter based on the amount of seconds you want it to start in. So if I do say 32, it's going to start in 32 seconds. Now if I want to end a game at any point, whether it's live or not, I can do /end SA and it ends the game. Now just bear in mind that whenever you start a game manually, it restarts the automatic timer, which means from the point of which I started that game there, it's going to start a new game in an hour's time. A couple more commands are, as you can see here, SA, /SA. This is what players type to actually join the game. So when a game goes live, they just do /SA and it'll take them into the lobby. And they can do /leave SA in order to leave. The only other two commands there are at the moment are claim reward. So you do /claim reward, saying I have no outstanding rewards because I don't. And that basically will provide that user with a role on those item tables that we put in we saw in the configuration there. And then you have add reward. if I type this in without any arguments, you'll see the parameters here. So you can add do add reward, short name, amount, and skin. So I could do add reward, scrap, 2k, and skin 0, or I can just do scrap 2k. So you can see here, scrap's been added, quantity 1. Oh, whoops, I shouldn't put it 2, I should have put k in. So add reward, scrap, 2000. You can see add reward, scrap 2000 has been added. So 2000 scrap is a potential reward that our players will get. So let's get into a game now. So we're going to do start SA 30. I'm going to type in /SA to join the game. You can see here we've been moved into the lobby. So this will send ping reminders every now and again, but whenever a player joins, it'll tell you how many players are currently in the game. As you can see, there's a maximum capacity of 14 players. It's based on the amount of spawn rooms there are, so there's no double ups. So when it gets to that capacity, no one else is able to join. So you can see joining is now closed. And because there was not enough players in the game, it ended. So let me just adjust the configuration file to allow one player to start, and then I'll load it again. Alright, so we just adjusted the configuration. So we're going to start up a game manually and show you how it works. So it's going to wait for the timer to finish. You can see here that there's 1 out of 14 players. Now this should allow us to, well, this has met the minimum requirements now, which means we should join the game. So I'll be teleported into a chamber, as you can see here. I'll be given a spear gun and a sword, and a gear setup. And then after a period of time, the doors open and combat begins. So there are these doors spread throughout the entire prefab. The whole point and purpose of this game is basically kind of, I guess, multi-directional combat. So sort of left, right, up, down. And yeah, it's a last man standing sort of type game. So last person alive wins. You can see I've got a boost active down the bottom right corner, which is my health overload there. Now when I die, when I leave the game, that health overload is removed. So just something to keep in mind as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. So I'll just die. We'll see the game ends. My corpse will be despawned, and my items are returned here. And you can see here everyone died, which means no one was actually declared the winner. Whereas when a person dies, it checks to see how many remaining players there are, and if the remaining player is, if there is only one player left, that player is declared the winner and is awarded a prize and is teleported out of the arena. That's all there is to it. So keep an eye out on the sales pages for any updates that do come after the release of this plugin. I'm sure there will be some, if history for sort of is any indicator. Yeah, otherwise hit me up on Discord or in CodeFling or Loan for any questions, and we'll go from there. Enjoy.